The room didn't feel like a courtroom that morning. It felt heavier than that, like something final was about to happen, whether anyone was ready or not. People lined the benches early, phones already in their hands, whispers bouncing off the walls before the judge even stepped in. Nobody said it out loud, but everyone felt it. This wasn't going to be another back-and-forth chapter in a messy story. This felt like the moment everything either collapsed or exploded. Martell walked in wearing that familiar confidence, the kind that says he believes the outcome is already decided. Melody followed shortly after, calm in a way that made people uncomfortable. No dramatic entrance, no forced smile, just steady steps and a quiet presence that pulled attention without trying. And right there, before a single word was spoken, the energy shifted. Because when someone walks into a storm without fear, you start to wonder what they know that everyone else doesn't. To understand how it all reached this point, you have to go back years, long before court dates and legal filings became normal conversation. Martell and Melody didn't start out as enemies. They started as a dream couple, building a life, building a family, building a brand in front of millions of eyes. From the outside, they looked like the definition of success. Ambition, love, children, a future that seemed locked in. But behind the scenes, cracks had already formed. Fame has a way of amplifying problems instead of fixing them. Every disagreement feels bigger, every mistake echoes longer. And when trust begins to slip, it doesn't fall quietly, it drags everything with it. Their relationship slowly shifted from partnership to competition. Where there was once support, there were now power struggles. Martell wanted control, not just over his career, but over the narrative. Melody wanted stability, especially for her kids. As their marriage unraveled, the cameras never stopped rolling, and neither did public opinion. Accusations flew, sides were taken, fans dissected every post, every interview, every silence. But the real damage wasn't online, it was happening at home, in moments that didn't make it to television. Arguments that turned into patterns, promises that turned into disappointments, and eventually, love turned into paperwork. When the separation became official, custody became the battlefield. Martell wasn't ready to lose control, and Melody wasn't willing to let her children become tools in a larger game. He believed public perception could carry him. He believed that if he said it loud enough, often enough, people would accept his version of events. Melody believed something else entirely. She believed in preparation. While Martell spoke, she documented. While he vented, she organized. While he assumed, she planned. And that difference would change everything. On the morning of the hearing, Martell looked ready for a win. He greeted people with nods, whispered to his attorney, and adjusted his jacket like a man walking into a meeting he expected to dominate. His entire argument rested on one idea, that Melody was too distracted, too focused on work, too involved in her own success to be fully present as a mother. It sounded convincing on the surface. Social media schedules, travel dates, filming commitments. His team lined it all up, confident that quantity would outweigh truth. They wanted to overwhelm the room, flood it with doubt, make Melody look irresponsible by comparison. But here's the twist. Melody never interrupted, she never reacted. She let them talk, she let them present, she let the narrative stretch as far as it could go, because she knew exactly where it would snap. When her turn finally came, the room leaned forward without realizing it. There was no performance in her voice, no anger, no desperation, just clarity. Her attorney moved methodically, placing documents on the table with intention, not urgency. School records came first, attendance logs, teacher communications, proof of consistency that couldn't be debated. Then photos appeared, not staged, not flashy, just moments of real life. School events, homework nights, sports games, birthdays. Each piece quietly dismantled the picture Martell's side had tried to paint. What nobody expected was what followed. A second folder slid across the table, thicker than the first. This wasn't defensive evidence, this was exposure. Financial timelines that contradicted earlier claims, messages that revealed selective storytelling, records that showed gaps between what Martell said publicly and what he did privately. The judge paused longer with these pages. The silence grew uncomfortable. Martell shifted in his seat, then leaned back, then forward again, like his body couldn't decide how to handle what was happening. His confidence cracked in real time. The nodding stopped, the whispering stopped. His eyes dropped to the table as if the answers might be written there. When the judge asked his attorney to clarify a specific inconsistency, the response came slow, uncertain. That hesitation spoke louder than any argument. Because courts don't run on vibes or volume, they run on proof. And in that moment, Melody had more than enough. Martell tried to speak, but his words tangled. The smooth delivery he was known for disappeared. His voice wavered, not with emotion, but with confusion. This wasn't the script he memorized. This wasn't the crowd he expected. For the first time, he realized the narrative had slipped completely out of his hands. The judge's expression didn't change, but the questions did. They became sharper, more direct. Less patience, more clarity. And with every answer Martell struggled to give, the room understood something irreversible had happened. When the ruling came, it wasn't dramatic. No raised voice, no extended lecture, just a firm denial of Martell's request and a reminder that the courtroom was not a stage. The focus, the judge made clear, was the children, not pride, not ego, not revenge. Those words landed hard. Martell stared ahead, blinking rapidly, like his mind was trying to rewind the last hour and find the moment where everything went wrong. Outside, the reactions exploded. Cameras caught Melody walking down the steps, composed, grounded, not celebrating, not explaining. She didn't need to. Her silence said more than any statement could. Support poured in instantly. Women praised her strength, parents recognized her preparation. Even critics had little to argue with because the facts were too solid to spin. Meanwhile, Martell exited differently. Fast steps, no eye contact, no comment. The breakdown wasn't loud, but it was visible. A man realizing control isn't the same as power. Social media turned the hearing into a moment. Clips replayed, expressions analyzed, timelines compared. Memes flooded feeds, but beneath the jokes was a serious shift. People stopped seeing Martell as misunderstood and started seeing him as reckless. They stopped seeing Melody as reactive and started seeing her as strategic. The balance changed overnight. Behind the scenes, the emotional impact ran deeper. Melody returned home to her children with a sense of protection restored, not victory, but relief. She had stood between them and chaos, and she didn't flinch. Her family rallied around her quietly, proud but not surprised. They had seen the work she put in when no one was watching. Martell, on the other hand, had to face conversations that couldn't be avoided anymore. Questions from family, disappointment from people who once defended him, and the hardest part wasn't public judgment, it was the private realization that his approach had cost him credibility. This wasn't just a legal loss, it was an emotional reckoning. The breakdown wasn't tears or shouting, it was the silence afterward. The kind that forces you to sit with your choices, the kind that makes excuses feel empty. Martell had spent so long fighting Melody that he forgot what he was supposed to be fighting for, and the court made that painfully clear. As days passed, the story didn't fade, it settled. Fans speculated about what came next. Redemption arcs, more conflict, another attempt to regain control. But one thing couldn't be undone. The proof had spoken, the image had shifted, and the power dynamic was permanently altered. In the end, this wasn't about who spoke louder or who had more followers. It was about who showed up prepared, grounded, and focused on what mattered. Melody didn't win by attacking, she won by standing still while the truth moved around her. Martell didn't lose because he was silenced, he lost because the noise finally stopped working. And as the dust settled, one lesson lingered in the air, heavy and undeniable. Control built on manipulation always collapses. Preparation built on truth never does. This chapter closed not with chaos, but with clarity. And for everyone watching, it was impossible not to wonder what the next chapter would demand from those left standing.